If there's no other business, we'll move on to public comment.
We don't have enough. We don't have enough people.
I guess it is now good afternoon. Kenneth Lambert, 235 Terrell Road, Wauchula. I too have a board meeting this afternoon that I have to go to Avon Park for. I would encourage you, you know that as the college board, we're in the process of, We're in the process of selecting a new president. All of those candidates are touring through our county. 2 of them have been through. There are 2 more, one on Thursday, one on Monday of next week. At 11 o'clock prompt, they are at the college on those days. All of you should have received an invitation to do a meet and greet. I strongly encourage you to do that. We have 4 absolutely fabulous candidates. It's going to be a terrific decision. But I'm a little biased in believing that South Florida State College is a very, very important part of what we're trying to do here. So if you get 5 minutes to go say hello, either Thursday morning or again on Monday morning, I sure would appreciate it. That being said, I'll move on to a couple of comments. And again, I appreciate the time. And the mood got somewhat somber in here today. It got somber for all the right reasons. Let's just call a spade a spade. As a board and as a community, there are entities, there are factions, there are things, and that's going to be true wherever you are. You're going to be under attack for some of those things. But never doubt that what you are doing is important. It doesn't mean that their opinions don't count. But I was so glad to hear multiple times today how important it is that the truth be told. And you have a responsibility in the marketplace to hold individuals to the truth, whether it be through word of mouth, whether it be through litigation if necessary, whether it be through any other means. I said it before and I said it again. Pundits are always the loudest. You cannot allow it to happen. Now, the main reason I'm up here, though, is a different topic entirely. I was rather intrigued by the Access My Office presentation. And I know that your vetting process is through the Chamber of Commerce, but I'm sure you recognize as a board that you are already down a process of the way you're selecting companies that I think is pretty important. And let me make a couple of comments and observations. If they're true, great. If they're not, I would encourage you to consider it in the vetting process. It is very important that you first look at the sector and the sector within the economy when you're looking at these companies, when you're vetting these companies. As an example, you are making a right investment in technology. From a sector standpoint, it is the fastest growing and sustainable market in this country and in the world, and it is going to undergird everything that we do. You may have a win, you may not have a win, but what you are doing is important, and I'll come back to that in a minute from a sector standpoint. You also are investing in another sector as we look at the biotechnology sector. So your sector piece within your vetting process is very, very important. What particularly intrigued me in the Access My Office presentation, and by the way, I'm merely using Access My Office as an example. I'm not endorsing nor contradicting anything they would have to say that would occur within the vetting process. But within that, I believe you should be asking the questions about the vertical markets in which they serve. When you look at healthcare as an example, there are many, many vertical markets within healthcare. When you look at outsourced IT, there are many, many markets within outsourced IT. So you want to understand competition, you want to understand sustainability, you want to understand compatibility with the other things that you are looking at. And by vertical markets, I mean from an IT standpoint. You know, it was pretty easy for me to sit and listen to the presentation and understand why you start in 2000 and you have customers. Well, it's pretty simple. From a marketplace standpoint, smaller companies have struggled for years and years to determine whether or not they're going to insource or outsource their IT. And it wasn't until the economic downturn in 2007 that really outsourcing most of that took place. So there is an opportunity for growth. I do believe that vertical specialization, however, makes a big, big difference. I don't think that you necessarily serve the litigation community. I don't think you necessarily serve, or the other way around, I don't think you serve all of them. I think you specialize because it's that specialization that makes you good. So I would encourage you in your vetting process to really hone in on what is the vertical specialization that you're trying to attain, because that is the differentiator amongst many of these companies. The other thing is, we looked at a lot of things today with regard to small business and commentary around small business. What is your definition of small business? What does that mean? Small business typically means organizations that are $5 million to $25 million in revenue. So as you talk about small business, it's probably pretty important that you understand what that looks like as well. To turn back to some of the conversation you had specific to Continuum Labs and specific to what you're trying to do with Tech River. Again, I've already said, you would be so remiss if you were not making investments in that regard. And Mike, I'm sorry people are asking you questions like, are Kiwanis and Rotary appropriate expenses? And I know why you ask, by the way, but that's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. It's just a typical business development expense, and shame on the individuals that would ask the questions, quite frankly, because it just means they're not informed of where we have to be to grow this community. I'm not criticizing you at all. I understand you were asking because you're being asked. But those are things that we have to get above, we have to get beyond. The other thing that Doug brought up, and Mike brought it up too, and I think it's really important for you to think about, is this negative publicity is very, very ominous. It's very difficult for this particular company to go about its mission. Think about your own business and how hard that would be. And most of it is not rooted in the truth if you really do your homework around it. So it is important that this board get that word out there. One of the things that I would offer to you, if you should choose to take me up on it, is I think when you're looking at sectors like healthcare, it's very, very important for you to understand the moving components of that particular arena right now. There is a much, much deeper story around healthcare. Healthcare is huge. Some of the other things, to bring it back home though, don't believe you're going to get a quick home run in the technology space, especially as it relates to healthcare. There's this little thing, just as an example, that just came along that has clouded this picture in a very, very large way. I know, I work within this industry. Much of the success of what Continuum Labs and other people will do is rooted in the ability for large member organizations such as Aetna, such as WellPoint, such as the Blues, such as other plans that exist out there. Their ability and their requirement under the star ratings and under their requirements to perform for their members is all rooted in their ability to have member satisfaction. A perfect example of member satisfaction will ultimately be some of what Travis Bond and his company are trying to work on and produce. That's not going to be a fast thing. I'm just telling you because we're all invested in this as a community. It will not be fast, and you better not be faint of heart in what you're doing in something like that. Again, back to my point, there was something that happened in the middle of this that has the carrier's attention entirely changed, and it's called Obamacare 14. And it completely changed their focus and their ability to move forward and do many other things. If you want to talk to these carriers today about applications such as this, make no mistake, they're very interested in the process. But I can also tell you that their focus right now must be on trying to figure out what Obamacare 14 is and how they implement it. And we're talking about the biggest healthcare organizations in this country that are trying to figure out how to implement it. So again, my point is you must be patient. You must invest. It's not going to happen in a hurry, and it's going to take twists and turns. There will be successes and there will be failures. But in that particular vertical market and that particular industry within the vertical market, the dollars available for success and for Hardee County to make a mark is huge. It's going to require patience. Now, the other thing that I'll conclude with after this long dissertation is something that I've really always sort of guided my business endeavors and my staff by, and it will not come as any surprise to you, but it was a statement that Calvin Coolidge made many, many years ago. And by the way, not when he was president, because if you go back and research his presidency, it wasn't too hot. But he had another job, and he was president of New York Life Insurance Company. And this is a statement that many of you have heard, and I'm sorry, I'm too old to read it without my glasses, but nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. It will solve what we have to do in Hardee County too. Thank you.